Did you know we've actually been conditioned to eat too much? Think about it. When the school bell rings, we eat lunch. When the dinner bell rings, we eat dinner. When we wake up, we have breakfast. We've simply been conditioned to eat that way. And recently I was traveling and I was listening to an audiobook that's called The Hungry Brain. And it's by the author known as Stephan Guyenet. Okay, and Stephen talks a lot about how we've just been conditioned through this Pavlovian response to just eat at these traditional times. And our brain just sort of shuts off and just goes with the flow. It's pretty darn interesting, but it's actually kind of scary. And it tells us a lot of why we may be standing in the way of ourselves when it comes down to getting in amazing shape. So from Guyenet's book, I decided to break down my 4 tips that you can use to overcome overeating and to also help yourself get in shape by simply applying simple little things that you can introduce into your daily life. But if you're like me and you want to constantly learn more and you want to constantly be diving into research, then listening to audiobooks is obviously a good way to go. And that's exactly why we've partnered with Audible, especially with this video, to be able to bring to you a special offer that you can take advantage of. So for everyone that is watching this video, we're giving an Audible subscription away for 30 days absolutely free. All you have to do is head on over to audible.com/sixpack or text the word SixPack, one word, to 500 and you can claim your offer. So now let's go ahead and let's get into the science and let me give you my 4 tips to avoid overeating. The first one is super simple. You know, it's funny because normally I'm talking all about science. I'm talking about just scientific ways that you can get in shape, utilizing things like fasting and ketosis and all that. But in this case, I'm keeping it simple. The number one thing that you can do is create more barriers to the foods that you would ordinarily snack on. You see, you have to change your food environment. A lot of times, because we're so conditioned to just respond to food in such a simple way, we'll walk in the door, open the pantry, and subconsciously just start eating. We don't even know what's going on. We just start doing it. But what you want to do is you want to start creating some barriers. You want to put food in a little bit of a different area of the house so that you actually have time to start being coherent and start realizing what you're doing. For example, if you were to put the cereal that you would ordinarily munch on a shelf that's a little bit higher, you're going to open that pantry and all of a sudden you're going to reach a little bit higher and you're going to be like, wait a minute, I'm actually processing that I'm doing this. You're not just doing it in your subconscious and just going through the motions totally passively. The other thing that you can start doing is, of course, just eliminating the foods that are there in the first place. It all starts with the grocery list. You have to make that concerted effort to choose the bad food that you're bringing into your house. So going into the grocery store when you're hungry is never a good idea. The next one that I want to recommend is extremely simple, but I have to overcome a simple myth in order to address it. It's to eat more filling foods and higher fat foods. Now, there's a caveat to this. Don't eat high fat foods that are combined with carbohydrates, but eat more in the way of nuts, eat more in the way of coconut oil, eat more in the way of, heck, even pork rinds from time to time. Eat things like that are going to satiate you more so you're not as tempted to eat more. It's super simple. We have an insulin response. That insulin response when we consume high glycemic carbs is going to cause our blood sugar to go way up and then way down, which is going to trigger a cascade of different hormones that cause us to become more hungry to try to stabilize our blood sugar. So if you simply eat more fats or extremely low glycemic carbs, things like maybe some chickpea pasta, maybe some red lentils, even red lentil pasta, maybe some black beans, things like that are low glycemic carbs, that will solve the issue too. But if you combine super low glycemic carbs with a little bit of fat, you've got something that can satiate you quite a bit. Okay, the third tip that I've got for you, believe it or not, is getting a little bit more sleep. Now, I know we all know that sleep is good, but did you know that sleep has a direct effect on our ghrelin and our leptin levels? You see, ghrelin is a hormone that allows us to be hungry. It tells us when it's time to eat, okay? Leptin is a hormone that communicates between the fat cells and the brain. So these are very critical when it comes down to our ability to eat, or our desire to eat rather. If we have these hormones out of whack, we're almost able to eat without even thinking about it. It's like these hormones possess our body. It's like cordyceps affecting an ant. If you've ever seen footage of what happens when those ants eat cordyceps, they become possessed and they start doing crazy things they ordinarily wouldn't do. I know the British Broadcasting Company did a video on that. It was really interesting. But point is, our bodies almost become possessed by these hormones. And it's really crazy. So you have to get a little bit more sleep in order to control those hormones. We also have to look at the effect of blue light. So when you're sitting in bed and you're looking at your phone, you have a massive amount of blue light that's coming into your face. Well, you may have noticed that iPhone introduced that night mode. Well, the whole idea of that is to try to reduce the blue light. So even Apple knew that blue light's not good. Blue light not only affects our hunger hormones, but it also affects our ability to produce melatonin. So if you're looking at your phone or your tablet or even sitting super close to the TV at night before bed, you're reducing the amount of melatonin your body can produce and thereby reducing the amount of sleep that you can get. It's actually affecting how you get into that shortwave sleep that you need to truly recover. So you definitely want to be paying attention to that. And honestly, it doesn't require a whole lot more. If you can just get 15 to 30 minutes more sleep, you will notice a massive, massive impact. Lastly, it's going to be giving intermittent fasting a try. And I know those of you that know the channel and know my videos know that I have an intermittent fasting program, so of course I'd be talking about it. But in reality, the real reason I'm saying this is simply because it's probably the easiest way for someone that is unaccustomed to dieting to get into a way of eating less calories. It's super, super simple. Now we have a lot of positive benefits, but I'm just going to highlight a few of the very simple ones. The first one is your stomach actually shrinks. It's called stomach distensibility. So when you're fasting, your stomach shrinks, which thereby makes it so you don't have a desire to eat as much food. It's pretty straightforward. Additionally, there's this amazing thing called autophagy. I talk about this in a lot of videos. It's when cells essentially detoxify. They recycle. They eat bad cells, or they eat the dying cells rather, and create new ones. It's a natural life cycle of a cell, but fasting encourages this to happen at a much faster pace. Then of course we have an increase in what are known as catecholamines. Okay, we're talking about things like epinephrine, norepinephrine, adrenaline, noradrenaline, all these things that are exciting hormones, exciting catecholamines. So like when we get excited about something, they're released in the body. This extra energy that we get, this extra excitement, causes fat cells to be recruited for energy. So it literally forces our body to start burning fat as a source of fuel simply because we're energized and we're ready to rock and roll. Now, of course, fasting also has a lot of other effects when it comes down to hormones, boosting human growth hormone. We also have a huge boost in testosterone. And we also have some controlling aspects of ghrelin. So it starts getting those hunger hormones under control that I talked about earlier as well. So I know this video isn't as scientific as I ordinarily would make them, but this video is designed to truly help people that need to have a lifestyle change. And what's so great about Audible is that its selection of audiobooks is unmatched anywhere. If you want it, Audible has it. And Audible also has exclusives and original audio shows. So to get your free audiobook with a 30-day free trial, head to audible.com/sixpack or text SixPack to 500 500. That's audible.com/SIXPACK or text SixPack to 500 500. So make sure that you check out Audible and make sure that you start doing your research, because honestly, the only way that you can start taking back control of your body and control of your health is to control how you educate yourself and to truly become knowledgeable in the topics that you're interested in so that you can make the lifestyle choice and go the route that you need to go to be the best version of yourself. I'll see you in the next video.